Hey, this is Mark Kotsay, manager of the Oakland Athletics, and you're watching Bay Area Sports Wrap. Yeah.
Any updates on any of the guys?
I know David briefly described Mason's bullpen today, which was nice to watch. Danny Jimenez threw a 2-up bullpen, 15 pitches, and then sat down, did another 15 pitches, looked great. He's scheduled for to face live hitters on Saturday, so we'll see how that goes. Danny could possibly go out on a rehab after that. Jacob Wilson, saw him today. He's actually started his baseball progression, so he started hitting off a tee, minimal swings, I think 10 maybe. He did some played catch up to 90 feet, and I think he may have done some light jogging. So that's a great sign. I'm still pretty optimistic that we can hopefully see him, in the future, and hopefully sooner than later. But we'll see how that continues to progress. Tyler Soderstrom still not doing baseball activities, still doing his rehab progression. So I'll update you on Tyler when he starts that progression. Darryl Hernaiz was doing well. Getting his at-bats, things have gone really well in terms of just physical, ankle, and building his endurance and strength. We've had a program for him. I think he might have played 9 innings last night for the first time. So we'll see him a couple more times before we make a determination on where to go with him.
Usually the A's at this part of the year, when they're not going to anywhere, they start trading big names. This year it didn't happen. Of course, we're going to miss Paul and stuff like that. But what's the meaning for you and the rest of the team that they kept all of those names that make the winning those series possible and the team moving forward?
Well, I think from a team standpoint, the last, like David said, David's talked about this, the last 2 seasons, where we've been and where we are now. There's a bit of a difference in terms of this group and the vision of this group. We believe that there's a lot of pieces here that we can go forward with and build with. So, today we traded, Paul Blackburn, who's been a staple, a guy that's been in this organization now, I think, for 7 years. Those type of names, for Paul, to be coveted by the Mets, a team that's in the middle of that wild card race, says something about Paul, and obviously we want Paul to succeed, and it's kind of bittersweet. You lose a guy that was a veteran that's helped these guys, but at the same time you're happy for him that he's going to go pitch in a situation where you may get into the playoffs. Same with Lucas. I know David spoke about that. This is a kid that our baseball ops team identified an out in his contract last year, and we felt confident about giving him an opportunity. It wasn't spectacular last year, but we had a runway for him to go through and develop, and here he is now being coveted by a team that's in full contention in the Central, and a chance to make the playoffs, and a chance for Lucas really to help impact that club. And in return, we get rewarded with a couple arms. One, Will Klein, who you'll see tomorrow, who's a very similar player that Lucas was last year in terms of where he's at in his career. The Royals had brought him up this season, but he never really got a full opportunity to go through that kind of development process because they were obviously winning a lot of games and had guys in the back end of their bullpen that they believed in and were confident in. So this is a chance for Klein to come in here and continue his progression, and we're hopeful that we can get him to a point where next season he's pitching in that type of role like Lucas was.
Mark, did you or David address the group today after the deadline?
No, we didn't. This group, obviously the position players had no change in terms of the pitchers. Bullpen pieces always come in and out. Lucas was a big part of that bullpen, but I think those guys are probably more familiar with being moved than a position player, than even a starter. I think there was some expectation that with all the speculation going about with Lucas being traded, that there was an awareness of it. So I didn't need to address that really.
Just wondering if there was a reaction on the team pretty much mostly stayed intact.
Yeah, I didn't feel there was a need to address the club.
Okay.
Mark, these are going to be the last two Bay Bridge games here in San Francisco. I just wonder your emotion of that, being a guy that's managed and also played in this environment.
Yeah, we got a lot of lasts, don't we, coming up? So, in terms of these being the last two Bay Bridge games, I'm sure Bob wants to raise that trophy and win these games, as he always does. But for me, you're going to take in every moment. That's really what we're going to do.
All right. Thanks, Kotsay.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Hey fans, I'm Kara Suboy with Bay Area Sports Wrap. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.